One of KiwiRail's 3 passenger ferries is out of action for the summer. The Aratere snapped a shaft earlier this week and lost a starboard propeller just outside of the Tory Channel. It's a blow for the government-owned transport company as it heads into the peak summer season. Its critics say the ferry is something of a disaster waiting to happen. KiwiRail's CEO, Quinn, joins me now. Good morning, Mr. Quinn.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming into studio this morning. You have had a series of problems with this ferry. Why is it so problematic?
Oh, look, we can't find any link that would make you think that these things are all linked up. So there have been some incidents in the past. Certainly we had some challenges when it came back from its refit. It's actually worked very well, and the thing to point out, which most folk don't know, is the ferry is the workhorse of the fleet. It travels the Cook Strait the most, and so I guess on probabilities it'll have more problems in that regard. But look, we don't know what's caused this, and I think the important thing first is to look at it and not assume it's linked to things. Look at it with an open mind and understand it.
I guess because, you know, it is the workhorse, it's such a vital part of the fleet. But you talked about the number of problems, and we did a bit of research yesterday. So, you know, it goes back to sort of 1999, there was a power failure. 2000, there were engine problems. 2004, steering failure. 2005, inspectors said they had a crisis of confidence in the boat. Same year, navigational problems. 2011, mechanical problems. Engine failure again that same year. 2012, engine failure. Earlier this year, it broke down in the Wellington Harbour, and then this week it lost a propeller. I mean, we've heard it's been named the L Lemon. Why is it such a problematic boat? Because you say you can't link it all, but there's a lot of problems with this boat. Well,
there have been, but I think firstly, the first range of things you talked about were the commissioning of the ship at the start, and there's no doubt there were some issues there. I wasn't here then, that's not a duck, but there were certainly some things there. It then ran quite well after that, and we did the big refit in 2011, and there were some issues which we fronted up about then in the project, but specifically there was some power management things which we've sorted out. They've been put to bed. Right. In terms of this thing, the propeller has sheared off. That's a fact, but just so people understand this, in the stretching of the ship, all the power system from the engines back to the shaft were in the same section of the ship. They weren't moved, so it's got nothing to do with the refit in any logical way, which is why it's so important we need to look at this and understand it all. This is a really unusual event. It's not unheard of, but it's a rare thing for a propeller to fall off. And
indeed, so I mean, that's what I don't understand. How does it just fall off? You said it was sheared off.
You know, the shaft has snapped. Well, the shaft has snapped, so something has caused that to occur. It hasn't hit rocks or anything of that nature. It was in the Cook Strait, so it has literally peeled off. Now, what causes that is something that we need to understand. We've got experts on that, and I'm the last person in the world to pretend I'm an expert, but I think also, as I started to say before, you really have to have an open mind when you're doing research into an incident like this. It's important we get to the absolute facts because we have to have confidence going forward.
What do you need to do to get it back in the water?
We've got a range of things. The first thing is I guess we're focused on a range of things now. The first thing was to get sailing again and to move freight and passengers in their cars as quickly as we can do. So we've got our 2 ships with the Aratere, which is a smaller ship, unfortunately, and the Aratere slot and the Kaitaki. They're working as hard as they can, and they're working all weekend this weekend. So we'll start the week next week with all the work we've done, getting those going, running them all weekend, and pushing some of the freight into the coastal ships and onto road. The week will start clean, and we're confident as we look ahead that we'll keep up working with our competitor and making sure it works. So we're working on that. That's first. The second thing is to make sure we understand the cause. We won't do anything with the ship until we understand why it's occurred.
So how long is it likely to be out of action then? Have you got an idea?
Well, we know it's going to take months to fix. So to repair the shaft, because it has to be manufactured, these things are not a common thing. They're designed specifically for a ship. So that will take time. It will have to sail away to
because there's real implications out there, and I'm thinking in particular here about Christchurch for a start, that, you know, there would be a lot of materials that go down, I assume, on that ferry. I'm thinking about, I took that boat actually across the strait myself last Christmas down to the South Island. Very, very busy time, very difficult to get a booking even. So the implications for Christchurch and for your peak season are pretty big, aren't they?
For the peak, yes. I think the biggest impact for the peak at the moment is the passengers with their cars. I'm confident we'll manage the freight. We're doing it now. The peak is the next few weeks. We'll work those through our customers and ourselves, and all the options are working together to make sure the freight moves. And as I say, we've worked collaboratively with everybody to really just make sure it goes. And as with everything, when adversity comes, people get together and make things work. So freight, I think, will make work. The peak of the passenger side with their cars is at the end of the year. At the moment, unfortunately, we had to freeze our bookings, and it's important people understand why. The ship being a smaller ship, we're overbooked on the Aratere now, so we have to work through day by day and move people onto the sailings that are available, and we literally have to step through that day by day. So it'll take us 2 or 3 weeks to clear that and know what capacities there are.
It seems it's feasible, though, that some people won't be able to get across. You won't have the capacity in that peak period, and by that I'm sort of talking about a couple of days before Christmas through to a couple of days after New Year.
The good news is that period just on Christmas is when the freight drops away, and that gives us much more capacity in our ships and our competitors too, because the trucks and train freight drop away. And so right at that point, for the next few weeks after that, yes, there's a lot of passenger demand, but unfortunately the freight drops away at that point as well.
Can you make a guarantee no passengers will miss out in their cars?
I think guaranteeing right now, when we don't have enough of the facts, and the other thing is, which we haven't got to, is what options are we exploring. So there is a possibility of a ship that can take away some of the freight, which will lift the capacities being available in a month or so. We're looking also whether we can sail the Aratere with a single shaft. We wouldn't go near that unless we're sure we understand what caused this.
Okay.
So once we have all the facts, and we're working on those options over the next week or so, but we won't, just be clear, that we would do nothing unless we're absolutely sure it's safe. And there are a whole lot of folk around us, Maritime NZ, DNV, who have to approve what we do if we venture to plan.
Am I oversimplifying things to say can't you get another boat in from somewhere?
Yeah, you are, unfortunately. You'd think it would be as easy as that. There's not a rental boat agency here, so and most of them would have to come from overseas, but all of them would. That requires them to be approved to sail here. The process around that, quite correctly, is quite a laborious one. There's no chance at all there'd be something here for January. It would be later than that. What
happens to the crew of the Aratere? What are they all doing now?
Well, the crew have got a lot of work to do maintaining the ships. Ships are a maintenance thing that have to be done regardless.
So they're still all in full employment?
They're working, yes, right now. We'll deal with what we have to do over the next few weeks, depending on what the options are. If a ship is available to use, the crew can work with that. So we just continue to work on these things.
They'll all stay on in full salary?
At this point, yes, and we're very early days to know exactly what the impacts will be.
OK, it does beg the question, I have to say, Mr Quinn, about whether a rail company is the right company to be running essentially a ferry service.
Well, what I've got is a business called the Interislander, and their whole life for the last 50 years has been around running ships. I've got another whole business which is around running the railway. So the people I have in there, from the naval architects, the engineers, the fabulous crews on board, are experts in what we do in managing roll-on, roll-off and rail ferries. Yes, we've had some issues, but this isn't like I've got railwaymen trying to run this thing. This is the Interislander has been in existence for 50 years last year. It's always been staffed by maritime folk. As I say, we've got naval architects, and you should also be aware that there are overseas agencies like DNV who have a responsibility to approve anything we do. So this isn't like we randomly go and change things.
OK, Jim Quinn, CEO of KiwiRail, appreciate your time. Thank you.